All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott, formerly of Rankin Technical College. As part of my YouTube channel that you can see on screen, JPS-Jeff Teaches Programming, which currently has one YouTube playlist in it, and that is Jeff Teaches Programming-Python. That's what I've been trying to do for the last couple months. I'm in the middle of talking databases, and we are writing a CRUD program to work with this SalesOrders database. And the last time we were working here, I created a generic read function which would handle all my reads. We've already done the update. And so when you look at it, we've got the R for CRUD and the U for CRUD done, but we need the D and the C. So let's start here. Now, when we create a generic insert or a generic delete, like what we did with the generic update, we need to handle the situation or the knowledge that tables, not only does each table have potentially a different number of fields, but some tables have a single valued primary key, and some have a multi-value primary key. So as always, for lack of better words, it kind of depends, right? But we have to handle that. And the way that we go about doing this is we write dynamic queries. All right? So the first one I'm going to do is the delete. I think it's a little bit easier. So again, we need to account for the primary keys. We're going to handle this by passing a dictionary of key value pairs where the keys are the column names for the primary key, and the values will be the value that's associated with that one. All right? So let's do this now. And I did put a little message in here that just said, so I've got generic update function. Now I'm going to be writing the generic delete function. All right. And I started doing this before, and I just didn't like what I was doing, so I'm just going to totally get rid of this, every bit of it. All right. We can always go back, and if I need to, I guess I probably could add it later. So this is going to be delete record, and I need the cursor, I need the table name, and I need the primary keys. We already talked about that. All right. So what we want to do is, again, to be able to delete a record given the table that we pass in, the primary key that we pass in. Okay? So one thing I wanted to show you quickly, which I have not been doing, but I'm going to start doing it right now, and that is this. I found this thing on the fact that you can use params. And this is the way that you're actually supposed to write, that you're supposed to document different functions that you create in Python. Or I should say this is a way that you can do it. There is no the way. So I'm going to bring this in. Let me move this over. Okay. So now, maybe that's a little redundant, but that's what I'm going to put in there. All right, so the first parameter that we're passing in then is cursor. That is the necessary database cursor. Let's close this so we got a little bit more room to work with. Okay. Next will be table name. let's even these out. So, and again, this will be the table containing the record to delete. And the last one will be primary keys. And this will be the primary key or keys of table name. Okay? All right. As far as the return, I don't know if we're even returning anything. We're not returning anything there. We're not returning anything there, to my knowledge. We're just doing the operation. So for return, I'm just going to have here none. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this before we start writing it, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to put it in the other two, but then modify it accordingly. All right. So again, try, accept, let's do that again. Copy, paste, and with this, let's move this over. Thought I would do that, but let's see if this fixes it. There. Okay. So this is the update record function. And it will let the user update a record. We're going to change this to, oh, that's fine. Update a record from given the primary key or primary keys. This allows for a selective update where the user can update any field or fields desired, or just hit the enter key to keep the current database value. I'm going to do it like that. All right, again, we have cursor, we've got table name, we've got primary keys, and we've got update. Oops, that's param. Update fields. Update fields, which again are going to be the fields. How about this? All fields in table name. And I'm going to move all these over a little. And for the return, grab that line that we had down here. Because I don't want to return anything, so I'm going to do a return none, just like we had. So let's get rid of that. Line that up. So return none. There is no return. All right, so that's the update. And we need one of these for the read as well. All right, hopefully this will be okay. So the read records function will let a user view all records from table name. That's it. I mean, literally that's it. All right, so we need the cursor, we need the table name, and again, it returns nothing. So there's that one. We'll worry about the insert in a couple of minutes, okay? All right, so what I want to do is start writing this. Okay, so that's cool. So again, I am going to put this into a try-catch mechanism, just like we have been doing. So I'm trying to be consistent with the way I'm writing these. So I've got that. Okay, so I'm immediately going to put the try in here. Again, it's somehow my tabs got all screwed up in here, and I don't know how, but they did. All right, so that's a try. And for now, I'm just going to, I think it'll take pass, and maybe it won't. And except, in fact, for the accepts, I'm just going to copy in all the ones that I've had right here. All right, so I've got all that. Now, there's nothing in the try, and I don't know if that's what's screwing this up or not. I have no idea. But I do know that right now I've got R for read records, U for update records, and I'm now doing D. So I'll have the RUD of CRUD. And when I get done, I'm going to try to write another one. All right, and that other one that we try to write will be for insert or create, whatever you want to call it. All right. So the first thing we want to do is we want to basically set it up a where clause. All right. So we're going to make a where clause. And just like I did before, I'm going to make that equal to, it's going to look a little funky. Okay, again, it's looking a little funky. Just give me a second here. All right, let me get that out of there. All right, okay, I want this. Well, that should have been make that a double quote. Yes, yes, yes. And we'll make that a double quote. That hopefully will fix everything. All right. We have primary keys, primary keys, primary keys. It says it's not defined. Well, it's right here. So something's hosed, but we'll look. Hopefully it's just going to work its way out in a minute. So what we're doing here is we're setting up the where clause. And you know what the where clause is, but we want to be able to combine in here either just one primary key or multiple primary keys. All right, so let's see. Conditions are our conditions are set up. The where clause is going to be equal to and join f call equals for call in primary keys. Again, I don't know why it with primary keys right there it doesn't recognize it, but it's not. All right. Next, we'll have something we're just going to call it values. And that's going to be equal to, we're going to throw this into a tuple. All right, why isn't it recognizing that? Primary keys. It's spelled correctly. Let's hopefully it'll work its way out in a couple minutes, but I don't know what the problem is right now. Unindent amount does not match previous indent. Well, that could be what's screwing it up. I don't know. Thought he did the exact same amount there. No, that he didn't. I did. See, that's not it. Something is goofy here, but we'll hopefully can figure it out. Now we want to construct our query. Delete from table name. Now that should, see that it's not picking that up either. What is going on with this? Just want to see if everything is kind of lined up the same. It is. Huh. All right, we're going to have to work on that because something is hosed here, definitely. Might be this. The indent. I wonder if this is what's screwed up. I don't know. All right, well now it's recognizing the word primary keys, so that's good. It's recognizing table name, that's good. Let's make this a doc string because I've been trying to do that. So delete from table name. And I want to delete from it where we've got the where clause. All right. Okay. So this stuff is all now. Okay, I don't have the cursor, but these are all done. That's good. All right. So we can put some comments here if we want. Here we are going to, whoops, jeez, set the where clause based on the primary key or keys. All right, here we are going to construct the delete query, the SQL delete query. All right, and after we've constructed it again, the next step would be to execute it. So all right, so this would be, let's use a with statement in here, just because it'll be a little bit easier to write it. All right, and if you say, I don't know what you mean, well, watch, please. With, well, we've got the connection already. We've got the cursor already. We passed the cursor in. We should be able to say cursor dot execute the query using, oops, it's delete query, using the values. And when we get done with that, we want to commit it. All right. Yeah, it's not recognizing the commit right now. I think what we can do is leave this the way it is. All right. And then jump back into our wherever we're calling this from. So let's look. Like we did before, let's start here with categories. We've got now delete record. And now we can come down to where we're deleting. We've got delete record. And we can call it just like we did up above here. So we can call delete record. And we can pass in the cursor. And what else do we need here? We need the table name. What else do we have in here? We have the cursor, we have the table name, and the primary keys. So the table name is going to be categories. And the primary key is going to be category ID. All right. I was thinking about this, that if this works, I'm going to do this, not for a read, but for an update. I'm going to say here, con, it doesn't have the connection. I want to commit right here. So I might have to go back and revisit this, but so here's our delete. All right, I'm going to copy this one down. So file, save all. Let's go to CRUD functions. Let's go to customers. Again, we've got that delete record in here. So again, we should be able to remove all of this delete. And this will be customers. And it is customer ID. All right. Next was employees. And I don't know why, I guess I copied too much. So this will be employees. And it will be employee ID. Okay, let's do a file save all so we've got everything saved. Next we have order details. This one's going to be a little different because it's got order ID and product ID in it. So again, this will have in it both order ID and product ID. Okay, and this is order details. As long as I've got this one here, let's just grab this. And let's bring up the last one, where, yeah, product vendors here. And again, I can remove all this, put this in, and this will be, like I said, product vendors. And this will be the product ID and the vendor ID. Like that. Let me just grab this and I'll make some superficial changes to it as needed. So I've got, next would be orders. And that has the order ID in it, and that's it. Since there's only one field, I don't need to pass it in with brackets. File, save all. Then we have products. And that will be products and product ID. And finally, I think that's it. And you can start to see, hopefully, now the only one that's of any length is create. Notice that read is 2 lines long. This one is because of all the fields in here, but if I put them all on one line, it would be 2 lines long. And this is 2 lines long. Let's see if I broke anything or if this one works. So file. I think that one was good. I think that one was good. I think that one was good. It should be prompting me to save if there's been any changes. So, all right. So we'll leave that one open. But I want my main.py back up here. All right, and I have no idea if this will work or not. So save, let's run this. Well, there, it was giving me junk there, but hopefully it's okay now. So let's do a number 1. Let's put in a vendor. I'm sorry, a new category. So new category. Let's do a 2 to make sure that's there. There it is, new category. It's a 7. Let's do a 3 on it. All right, and we want to make sure that we can update it. So it's 7. And let's put, yeah, it's new. All right, make sure it got changed. There it is, and let's see if we can remove it. All right, got a problem here. It says str has no object called values. Well, yes, it does, but for some reason it's not grabbing it. All right, the problem is in our delete category or our delete record routine. Well, I think that statement is wrong. Let me go back and look at that statement. So that was in our delete record, which is in our, let's close this, in our CRUD functions. All right. Tuple. Oh, I know what it is. I made this a tuple, and then down here, or wherever, I didn't treat it like a tuple. In other words, when we call this, oh, darn it, as an example, let's go to categories and see if we can make it work real fast. This I know what I'm trying to do, it's just not working right. Where am I here? All right, I'm at 31 minutes. I'm going to pause and see if I can fix this. All right, I'm back, and I have made quite a few changes. Let me show you what I've done here. First of all, I wrote a generic create vendor routine. But notice what I said in here. Where is it? In my, close a couple of these. In my CRUD functions. There is now, all four of these have now been written. Okay? So here is crudfunctions.py. All right, and I'm going to show you, we've already gone over the read and the update. So I'm now going to go over the create and the delete, and then I'm going to try to run it. Okay, now, again, this was a little harder because we have some cases, 6 out of our 8 tables have a single field primary key, and 2 of the tables, those being order details and product vendors, those are known as join or jump tables or junction tables, and they are set up so that we're able to join 2 other tables. The product vendors table is set up so we can join the products table with the vendors table. All right, the order details table is set up so we can join the orders table with the products table. All right, but we have to be able, when we're writing updates, when we're writing inserts, no, but really I shouldn't even say it, updates and deletes, especially those 2, we have to take into account the fact that we might have a composite or a concatenate a primary key with more than 1 field. All right, now I decided after writing this create function that it was written in here. I'm going to leave it here, but I'm not going to call it. In other words, I'm not going to change my original functions. Okay, and if you see I don't understand, let me go over it and then I'll show you exactly what I mean. So this is an insert. I added for the insert and for the update and for the delete, I added the connection. So when I got done, I could commit these to the database. For the read records, where I'm just reading them, there's no need to pass the connection because there's nothing, we're not committing anything, okay? So, put some documentation in here as it says, the insert function will let a user insert a new record into table name. So we pass in the connection, the cursor, the name of the table, and then the data. All right, and you'll notice we've got a try catch here, and I tried to put in at least a modicum here of comments. So we set up the column names, and we set up the column values. All right. And we're actually going to pull those values from a tuple. Okay. Then we construct the query. Now it's very similar actually to a regular insert query. Insert into followed by the name of the table, but rather than putting in all the column names separately, they're basically going to be added up here. Now when we call this, we'd have to provide those names, types, etc. All right, so we have the names and the values. Then we execute the query, and then we're going to say, for example, categories record inserted. Then we can commit the changes. If there's a problem, we've got all these exception handlers. Now I decided not, even though that was implemented, I decided not to call that at all. And the reason I decided not to call that was I thought it was cleaner, so to speak. I don't know if cleaner is the right word, but it's the one I'm going to use. So I decided that it was cleaner to keep the stuff in there the way that I had it. I just thought it made more sense. All right. So that is the insert. We've already gone over the read, which is pretty generic. All right. We've gone over the update already. So the only one that's left to go over here is the delete, and I'm going to go over that in just a moment as soon as I get down there. All right, there we go. Whoa, hello. So you can see when we get down here to the delete, which there we go. That's what I wanted. I've just put that in there as kind of markers so I know where something begins and ends. Okay? So the generic delete function, you pass in the connection, you pass in the cursor, you pass in the table name, and you pass in the primary keys. Now that I look at it, I'm missing something from the update. We need the connection here. And again, that's the database connection. And we're using that so we're able to commit when we get all done. Like I said, to me, that made more sense to do it this way. There's a lot of different ways that this could have been written. This is the way I chose to write it. All right. Okay. So as it says, the delete function will let a user delete a record from table name given the primary key or primary keys. All right. Okay. So we put in a try statement. We set up the where clause. We grab the values that we're going to use. We create the delete query. And then, we say that, for example, categories record deleted. We commit the changes. Now, it appeared as though it was saving the stuff even when I wasn't committing, but that'd be a piss poor way of doing things. Pardon my French. So let's do a save all here. In main, there's not really anything in here that I had to change, except that when I'm dealing with the update and with the delete, I had to make sure to pass in the connection. So con there, and con there. Okay? Now I put the commit here, and I don't even know, now I don't even think I need that anymore, to be honest with you. All right? So let's, in fact, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. All right? Now, in here, you'll notice we set up our connection. Again, this could be put into a try-catch block, but since we're calling it up here, that is in a try-catch block, I believe. There. Okay. So the reason I'm going over this is I want to really go over the fact with you that what I did here was I added a boatload of exception handling. Okay. Years ago, when I was teaching in a technical college in Wisconsin, I took my students on a field trip. And it was to a place, it was only about 15 minutes away, but they sold products, I believe it was to hospitals. And they were a multi-million-dollar company. And the head of IT walked us around, gave us a lecture, talked to us about what they did, etc. And when he got done, he said, "Are there any questions?" And my hope was that students would ask some questions. And there were a couple, and that was fine. But then I raised my hand, and he's like, "Yeah, Jeff." And I said, "Okay, I imagine that your place runs and everything that you do is all done electronically." He said, "Yes, that's true." I said, "So I imagine you've got one or more databases that you have to handle all this stuff." And he said, "That's true." I said, "Okay, if somebody came in to your company and managed to come in and just totally fudge up your database or databases or remove them, let's say, how long could you stay in business?" And he said, "Wow, it's an interesting question. I've never really given that a lot of thought." So off the top of my head, I'd say 2 weeks. And again, this was a multi-million-dollar company. We went on with the tour. And then when we got done, right before we finished, the gentleman who was running the tour came up and said, "You know what? I've rethought what I told you before. I think the maximum we could stay afloat if our database or databases were somehow removed or totally corrupted would be 2 days." He said, "Because we have millions of dollars that gets sent back and forth electronically." And he said, "If we didn't have that ability, all right, we couldn't survive as a company." The reason that I'm telling you that is because when you think about it now, all right, when we think about this, the data in the database in many ways is the lifeblood of a company. You don't want to let garbage into the database. It's not a garbage in, garbage out type of thing. For example, what if you accidentally put into the database that one of your customers had paid $1 million bill? Okay, so they paid it. Now, as far as you're concerned, that customer paid, and if they never paid after that and you never let them know, you'd be out $1 million. Well, look at it the other way. What if you billed a customer for $1 million and they sent it to you, but you never recorded it, or you recorded it incorrectly? Now you go back and contact the customer, and they're like, "Hey, we paid," and they could even prove it. That might lead to bad feelings or something else. All right. So you never want to let bad information into a database. You don't want a customer's name in there incorrectly. You don't want their address, etc. You don't want any payment information. Nothing. All right. Because again, the database data, for lack of better words, is kind of the lifeblood of the company. All right. Now I'm going to try to run this. And since I've made all these changes, I'm not going to lie to you. I have not run it. So I'm hoping everything still is going to work. But we're going to find out right now. So there's my main. Let's run it. All right. So again, the insert is not been changed. I did put it in there. I implemented it, but I don't call it from any place. So the insert information is still done inside of the different CRUD functions. So create CRUD, etc. It's not in the generic one. The generic one has got an insert record written, but it's never called. All right, let's start with categories. All right. Oh my goodness. All righty. Well, here's the start. says it's missing one required positional argument, that being table name. All right, that might be on me. So well, it is on me regardless. So let's fix it. All right. So what I want to make sure I'm doing here is let's just start with products. I'm sorry, categories, the first one here. All right. When we call delete, we're passing con, and update, we're passing con. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Con and cursor, con and cursor, con cursor. All right, let's look at the delete records that's inside of our CRUD functions. Whoops. Con cursor. That looks good. Con cursor, table name, primary keys. Okay, it looks like everything was in there. But, well, I shouldn't remove that. Let's run it again. All right, we're going to run this. We're going to put in a 1 here. And we'll try a create. All right, so enter category description, new. Whoa, okay. Oh yeah, that's right. That's all that's in there. So number 2, this is where it blew up. So it's blowing up. It's the things in main are typically the problem. So it should be in categories CRUD dot line 23. So let's look at categories CRUD. Let's look at line 23. Oh, read records does not require the cursor. Oh, it does require the cursor. I'm sorry. It does not require the connection. So read records, cursor, categories. All right, let's go over to read records. Update. All right, read records does not require the connection. That's my error. Sorry. Like I said, I've been playing around with this quite a bit. So let's try it again. All right, I'm going to close this. I am going to take what I had here, clear it all out. All right, so let's run this. Okay, there's my main. So I'm going to work with categories. So there, I'm in the categories table. I'm going to create a new category. So new category created. That's all there is right there. So let's do a number 2. There's new category created. All right, so I can do, I've shown you a 1 where I did the create. I've shown you a 2 where I did the read. Let's do an update. 3. Category ID would be 8. I could just hit enter to keep it. I don't want to. So I'm going to put in here new cat, just new cat. All right, let's run it again. Did we get new cat? Yes, we did. So I've now shown you 1, 2, and 3. Let's go to number 4, which is the delete. We want to delete 8. Notice categories record deleted. All right, I added that, a little generic message, and a 2, so that should now be out of there. And it's out. No, it is not out of there, does it? Oh, let's see. Let's remove 7. 4. 7. I think I had 2 new ones in there. There it is. Okay, so that works. So all our categories work. All right. And I'm at 50 minutes here, so I want to kind of quicken it up, for lack of better words. 5. All right, now we'll do number 2. Let's check out, do we have any? No, let's put in a new customer. I'll put in me. All right, we got the customer created, so let's do a 2. There I am, number 28. All right, so I'm going to come in and do an update of 28. Jeff Scott is fine. 7-5 Part08 is fine. Let's change this to Wentzville. Change that to Missouri. Change that. That's actually correct. That's okay, and that's okay. Let's do a 2. Did it update? Yes, it did. That's now Wentzville, Missouri. All right, let's see if we can remove that customer. So 4, and it's 28. Okay, it says customer record deleted. Let's do a 2, and you'll notice that the customer is gone. All right, then let's do this. Let's do a 5, go back to a 3. Now we're at employees. All right, let's add me as an employee. Tell you what, I'll add my wife. All right, it says the employee was created. Let's double check. There she is. She's number 9. So let's go and see if we can do an update of number 9. We'll leave her first name and her last name. We'll change the address to 123 Pine Way. I'm just making all this up. The city will be, let's make it Atlanta. The state will be Georgia. And we'll keep everything else. All right, so let's see if it changed everything. And you can see there's Pine Way, Atlanta, Georgia. Good. So let's see if we can remove her now. 4, and that's number 9. 2, and it's gone. So that works. All right, next are order details. Oops, I'm still in customers. So 5. Table option now will be 4 for order details. Let's look and see what we have in here. Oh, let's put in a new one. Okay. The order ID. Oh, I'm trying to come in here and do a delete. All right, it says it was created. Well, it looks like it was, so I must have pressed the wrong button. So it's the last one. There's the 3211. Let's do an update. And we'll put 3 in here. We'll change that to 944. And it says no record was found with that primary key. Oh, because I put a 3 in there. Okay, let's try it again. We'll do an update. 3. The order ID will be 944. And this will be 2. Said no record found. Well, let's do this one more time. Let's read everything. All right. I think it's because let me just see if I can remove this one and I'll work on a different one. So let's do a 4, 3, and 2. It says it was deleted, so let's see if it's indeed gone, and it is. All right, let's go to the last record that was in here. So we're going to do a 3 for update. The order ID will be 944. The product ID will be 40. All right. Notice it says 180. Let's change it to 222. And currently, let's change this to 22. And we'll do a 2 and see if it changed our last ones. There's 222 and 22. All right. So 5. So I've now checked for you categories, customers, employees, and order details. Let's go to orders, which is 5. And let's look at what's in there. Let's add a new order. And we'll put in today's date, which is 10/9/2024. And we'll say it ships tomorrow. Customer ID, we'll just put in 10/20. And the employee ID, will make it 701. So let's see if that one is now in there. You can see that it is. There it is right there. And I put the date in incorrectly. So let's update. 945. We'll change the date to 2024-10-09. And we'll change this to 2024-10-10. We'll leave the customer ID and the other one as they are. And you can see it fixed it. All right, let's remove this one. Let's make sure it was removed. There, it's gone. All right. So we've now checked the first 5. Let's go to products, which is number 6. I don't think I have any. Yeah, I will enter a new product right now. New product. Description, we'll just put in nothing. Long, put in nothing. The URL, hello.com. Price, $250. Quantity will be 23. Category ID will be 5. And let's see if that's all in there. There it is, the new product. Let's update it. We'll change the name to some new product. I'm not going to put any descriptions in. Let's change this to newproduct.com. Let's say we've got 25 of them, or that's the price, and the number in stock will be 25 as well. Category ID will keep it 5. All right, did it make our changes? Some new product, no description, newproduct.com, 25, 25, and it kept that. So that worked. So we're up to 7 product vendors. And the last one that's in here, I think I added it, so I'm just going to play with that one rather than add a new one. Well, we can add a new one, it doesn't matter. So 1, product ID again will be 40. We'll make this 1. Wholesale price $34.95. And the days to deliver will be 28. All right. There's the new record we just put in. Let's do some updating. So that's 40 and 1. The price will change to $44.55. The number of days will change to 21. And let's see if it's made the changes. There they are, 44.25, 55 rather, and 21. Let's see if we can remove that one. So that's 40 and 1. It says that it was deleted, and you can see it's out of there. All right, so that's the first 6. Let's go up to 7, which is product vendors. Okay, we can add a new one. That's fine. The product ID will make that 40. The vendor ID will make that 6. The wholesale price will be $33.33. The days to deliver will be 14. and it's giving us an error. Okay. It says the unique constraint failed, which means we've already got one with that information in it. Let's try it again. We were good up till that point, so let's run it again. Again, we'll bring up product vendors, which is 7. Okay, we'll select an operation. Let's do a 2 in here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try to do another new one and see if we can. 40. 7. Just put in 3 and 3. Okay, let's see if it put that in. 47, 3 and 3. See if we can update it. Let's make that 33. And for the days to deliver, let's make that 35. Let's double check and see if it worked. There's 33 and 35. And finally, let's see if we can remove that record. And it's gone. All right. So the only one left to do is vendors. So let's do that one. Oh, that's number 8. We can create a new vendor. New vendor. Address 123 Pine Street. City, we'll make it O'Fallon. State, we'll make it Missouri. Zip code will be 63368. Phone number 222-222-2222. Fax number will be 222-222-2233. URL will be newvendor.com. Email address will be new@newvendor.com. Let's see if it put it in. There it is. It's number 11, the new vendor. So let's do an update. Okay. We'll call this updated name. We'll leave the address. We'll leave the city, state, zip. We'll leave all that stuff. We'll call this a newone.com. And this we'll leave too. Let's take a look. Okay. There's a newone.com. Okay, so that's all working. Let's see if we can remove that one. So that'll be customer 11. And when we look, 11's gone. So I now have gone through and I have completed, well, actually 5, 9. Oops. Yeah, 9 should exit. Okay. So now we've completed. We've written this thing. We've written this CRUD app. And I've written it in a non-object-oriented manner. So I'd like to go back and try to rewrite it in an object-oriented manner. So that's what I've got coming up next. And I'll be back with that, hopefully to start with that shortly.